From the Jackson County Sheriff's Department in Mississippi, Nolan has a slight burn mark, approximately length of calf, on his outer left calf, on left leg. Just got these documents. See if you can see who they are from. Okay, got this snail mail. Official reports. Look at all this redaction. You see what I did there? I picked out one little piece of truth within this whole incident report and made you, perhaps for 2 seconds, think, wait a minute, Nolan was burned. He was burned on his left leg. Remember those women, those nurses who got on TikTok and claimed his body was burned? No, that's not what this says. And I don't clickbait, I don't mislead people, but I'm giving you an instance of what is happening here. If you don't have headphones, grab some headphones, or just, mark this part, come back if you want to watch later. Take out the left side and listen to what you hear on the right side. I just got back in from out of town yesterday, and this was in my mailbox. That's why I hate snail mail. This is what $25 bought me, basically, in the case of Nolan Wells. This is an incident report, and it just speaks of Christine Wells reporting her son, Nolan Wells, missing. It says he was last seen on Horn Island at approximately 3 p.m. It goes on to say, on Sunday, July 5th, 2026, at around 12:47 a.m., I, whomever this officer is, responded to the address in reference for a missing person complaint. Upon arrival, I spoke with the complainant and mother, Christine Wells, who stated she last saw her son, Nolan Wells, at approximately 5 to 6 p.m. on July 3rd, and that Nolan was last seen by friends on Horn Island around 3 p.m. on July 4th. Christine stated Nolan had left with friends at approximately 10 a.m. this morning, so he means 10 a.m. the morning of July 4th. He or she, I don't know what officer this is. Christine stated he was last seen in black shorts, flip-flops, and sunglasses, and we know she later corrected that to blue shorts, and left his home residence on July 3rd in a 2021 dark gray Nissan Sentra bearing a Mississippi tag, I don't know which one, so he must drive a Nissan, or he drove a Nissan Sentra, not a Prius. Like I was trying to hear that audio before, remember? The officer was saying previous, but it was hard to hear on the dispatch. So it had an SMCC, Southwest Mississippi Community College decal on the bottom left corner of the rear window. Then we have a whole bunch of redacted. Don't think I didn't try and hold it up to the light and see if they, sometimes they redact things. Different officers might redact things incorrectly, and sometimes you can unredact it. But anyway, it's all redacted, whatever this all says. Then it goes into Christine states Nolan is 6 feet 2 inches tall, 175 pounds. I believe they've updated that. He has a quarter-sized birthmark approximately directly under his chin in center chest area. So he has a quarter-sized birthmark. I don't know what that looks like. But this is where it says, Christine also told police Nolan has a slight burn mark, approximately the length of his calf, on his outer left calf, on left leg, and a surgical scar on his left ankle. Nothing further to report at this time. So that's where a burn mark comes from. I just want to get this on record because today is Tuesday, July 28th. As of this reporting, we don't have his official first autopsy. We don't have a lot of things. It'll be sealed until the grand jury convenes and either decides to indict someone or not. But things like that. Obviously, it takes critical reading, critical thinking skills to say, oh, okay, Nolan at some point before he disappeared, before he sadly died, Christine, who last saw him July 3rd, was able to tell police he has this burn mark on his left calf, a surgical scar on his left ankle. Maybe something happened. I don't know if it was a football injury or I don't know what the heck has gone on. But the reason I'm reading this is because I feel like we've lost critical thinking skills. A lot of people have. I've been just sitting back and trying to just put pure evidence out there, holding back my opinion, but I feel like literally I'm in the upside down. It's opposite day on SpongeBob land when people got a hold of that CETO audio dispatch and turned it into something totally, I don't know what. I don't know what. We'll get there. Anyway, this is the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. I hate snail mail. I really do. It's the report. Christine Sherelle Wells Wansley, again, she's the complainant, and she's reporting her son, Nolan Wells, missing. And it's just sad. And the rest of it is just my check I sent them and my original public records request. I see Sheriff John Ledbetter's name on there. And before I even got on here, I was literally trying to find, I have not been able to find it yet, where people say Sheriff Ledbetter said, out of his own mouth, there was no foul play. That's how some people are interpreting it. I see on NBC5 Chicago, cannot rule out foul play after independent autopsy for Nolan Wells. That's what, of course, attorney Benjamin Crump has said. They're saying Ledbetter originally supposedly said, there's no sign of foul play. Did he say that on video anywhere out of his mouth? I don't know. If you can find it, let me know, because I'm trying to look for that. Of course, I'm so used to true crime that I'm used to police and sheriffs and everyone just playing word games with us during many cases and saying no indications of foul play. In the meantime, they might be in the background arresting, a main suspect, or they might be ready to rule it an accident. Who knows? I wrote this very impassioned Facebook post, which I'm just going to read it, talking about all these Nolan Wells lawsuits afoot. This 10-page litigation notice that's gone out, and one of them apparently went to Judge Ashley Cole, who is Warren Hudson's stepmom. Basically, get ready for a lawsuit. But you know who else should get ready for lawsuits? YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, Facebook content creators. Prepare for defamation lawsuits. I wrote that I'm aghast, astounded at the legal trouble I literally see some content creators just walking themselves into. And I'm not just talking about new true crime content creators who don't know the ropes, don't know the laws, don't know much. I'm talking about some people who have been around for decades and are large enough to know better. So I pointed to these recent defamation lawsuits, one against YouTubers, one YouTuber in particular, and one TikToker. This $18 million judgment and a $10 million judgment. I was like, have they not seen that $18 million judgment that the family of Kylie Rodney, a teenager who died in an accidental drowning out in California, her family won against YouTuber Ryan Upchurch? Now I know he's like a country rapper or whatever. He seems kind of talented on that end, but for some reason he jumped into the true crime world. He was really cool at first, it seemed. He was into the Summer Wells case, a missing little girl out of Tennessee. I believe he was trying to bring attention to it. I don't know if he said anything crazy there. I didn't watch all his videos. But then he jumped into this Kylie Rodney case. It was weird. It was a case in California, a girl, we don't really know. Autopsies are weird because bodies produce a sort of alcohol-like substance after death, and it's very hard to interpret. I don't know if she was drinking or not, so I don't want to say anything false or defamatory against this girl. She was 16. She drove accidentally, I believe, into this Prosser Reservoir. She was missing for quite a while, so it gave, a vacuum of time for people to create all these crazy stories, true crime fan fiction, as it were, point fingers. Some people to this day believe, oh, it was her friend Sammy, look at her. Oh, so-and-so probably did this. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, YouTuber Ryan Upchurch, he's like millions of subs. He got on there and he started talking about who could have done things to Kylie Rodney. He was accusing other people.
So with me being who the fuck I am and how I was raised around here in Cheatham County, I had to pick up the fucking weight. I had to put my fucking career on hold for Jesus Christ the past fucking 2 years pretty much. Because the lawyer's fucking retarded and she don't know what freedom of speech is. She's like, you have to file this out of court. It cannot go to federal court. Please don't make it go to federal court. Well, how many... just hold up a big fucking red flag and be like, woohoo! Look at me, my red flag. What fucking lawyer that's getting paid and you're fucking invoicing me all this fucking money? What do you not want to go to court for? I'm paying you to go to court, motherfucker. But no, she fucking quit last minute and blamed it on non-communication, and some fucking judge down there signed off on that bullshit. What the fuck kind of judge is gonna sign off on that? A goddamn cricket would.
You know, talking about her friends. The main thing was he was saying, oh, it's a psyop. She doesn't even exist. You know, he's trying to take a page out of, what's that InfoWars guy, Alex Jones or whatever, who he's lost his shirt too in the stuff he said. Adding insult to injury, like the Sandy Hook killings, you know, those little children horribly killed. Imagine losing your young baby so horribly, and then you get on YouTube and you see some blowhard saying, oh, these babies never existed. Well, that's what YouTuber Ryan Upchurch was doing with Kylie Rodney. He was like, oh, she doesn't exist, or maybe she's this girl Callie Ross, or, you know, just wild theories. So no wonder he lost in a civil suit to Kylie's family that brought against him, thank God. That's $18 million that must be paid to his victims. Monies that can ruin him. You know, he brags about having so much money. That's not even counting what Ryan Upchurch allegedly had to pay a different YouTuber. I think they settled out of court. He falsely accused this guy of being a pedo. They settled out of court. I felt like I was on opposite world day then too. You know, Ryan, I remember he published this video about this YouTuber, and of course I won't say the name. It's false information. I don't want this YouTuber's name to be linked to anything like that ever. You know, so Ryan Upchurch got on there. He published a video like, if you unscramble these letters to this YouTuber's name, their nickname, their handle, you know, it says, I sell kids or whatever. I mean, it was like ludicrous. And some people were like, oh, you figured it out, Ryan. And I'm like, what on earth are you people talking about? I'm just not a conspiracy theorist. That's why I go so hard after evidence. So Ryan Upchurch allegedly had to settle out of court for that guy, and then he has to pay $18 million. And I noticed Ryan, he has a young baby girl to care for. He has a daughter. But again, Upchurch got on his huge platform and just flapped his gums and accused all sorts of people of murdering Kylie and all this stuff, and they didn't. They were innocent people. Now he has to come up with $18 million. He'll probably lose his home. I mean, I know he has a lot of assets, but still, $18 million is nothing to sneeze at. All those fancy cars he brags about owning. Imagine if someone came after you to collect an $18 million judgment. They weren't going to stop until they got it. They collect every single garnish any paycheck you ever get anywhere, any government refunds or payments or anything, they snatch them up. I didn't even include the Tasha K and Cardi B thing. You know, I thought Tasha K, she lost to Cardi B for like, was it 4.5 million? I'll check that and put that on the screen. That hurts. That's real money that's coming out of the pockets of a person who decided to jump on YouTube and get things all twisted up potentially, or not know anything, and then just going for the views, or maybe they really truly believe it, confirmation bias, whatever it is. What about this psychic TikToker, Ashley Gilliard? She falsely accused this history professor, Rebecca Schofield, of being the Idaho 4 killer. And the thing is, some of these people, they had chances to back down. Tasha K, she was like, oh, I'm gonna wipe my butt with this cease and desist that Cardi B apparently sent her. And so it kept going to a lawsuit that she lost. Same with Ashley. She took a page out of Tasha's playbook. She took the lawsuit and she like took the paper and she like put it behind her toilet paper, thinking, oh, you know what Tasha K did was cute. Let me do the same thing. Now, a civil court jury ordered Gilliard to pay $10 million in damages. I just saw Rebecca Schofield was recently awarded nearly $30,000 in attorney's fees. And then the TikToker, Ashley, she tried to float this motion for relief of judgment due to fraud. Like, oh, it's a fraud that I need to pay her $10 million. No, it's not. The judge denied it. So I just checked up on her. Ashley, she's still on TikTok. She's being accused. People are accusing her in the comments, not me, but you know, she was talking about, oh, you all say I'm going on the run. She's traveling around the world. I guess she was in Dubai or wherever. Who knows where she really was. Maybe she's dodging that judgment. Part of me believes she has a young son. I could be wrong. Don't sue me. I said our words and our actions don't just impact us. I pray before I jump on this camera. I write out the script, I think hard, I research, I try and come up with facts. I don't get on here just to say anything just to entertain people or try and like, oh, which way is the crowd going? Let me go that way. No, I'm not doing that. And the thing is, Ashley also had time If she had stopped at the cease and desist, she probably would have never gotten sued. Tasha K, if she had stopped with the cease and desist, she probably would have never gotten sued. Things will pan out. I've stopped at a cease and desist before. I remember Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, way back in California. I told you guys, I was trying to pitch this updated script, Coldwater Canyon. When I lived in California, it would have been an updated version of Sunset Boulevard. You know, I switched it around and all that. Wrote a new script. I was pitching it around town, and then I got the cease and desist because people are like, wait a minute, has Andrew Lloyd Webber given up the rights? Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, has he given up the rights to Sunset Boulevard or something? Obviously, I guess I didn't transform it enough, or if I had the money, I could have taken it, to court, but I was like, fine, I'll drop this project. Let me move on to the next. I'm not gonna fight to the death unless it's a cause that's worth it, just to prove, oh, you can't sue me, or I'm not going to listen to this cease and desist. No, some people need to listen to a cease and desist. It's like God tapping us on the shoulder like, time to stop now, honey. Now, these Nolan Wells case lawsuits have begun, basically. Will they end up in million-dollar judgments? So I said, that's why I'm flabbergasted seeing people risk everything almost in order to accuse Nolan Wells' friends of murder without cause or basis, or even some of these people I know, they don't even put in public records requests. They're not even seeking real answers for themselves, like the truth, not just a news website's interpretation of the truth or another writer's interpretation of, what some report from police might say. What does it literally say in black and white, sent to your house or sent to your email inbox? Believe me, the minute authorities release any indictments, information, arrests, I'll be the first to try to report it accurately. If there's a grand jury decision to indict someone or someone's in the Nolan Wells case, I'll try and get that info. But just because we don't have all the answers to questions, I'm not going to attempt to crusade or jump on some bandwagon to paint people as guilty subjects without evidence. The moment that very first photo came out with Nolan on the boat, I don't even know who all the 4 kids are that he was with. African-American Nolan, and did he consider himself African-American Filipino for his mom's heritage too? But you saw him, and you saw him with other non-black, non-minorities. People immediately, a gut instinct, had the story in their minds. I've seen the craziest stuff. I've seen very talented people, create. It's literally like true crime fan fiction, if that makes any sense, because then it's not true. Nolan running through the woods of Horn Island and these white kids chasing him and animated. I just don't understand it all. I mean, I'm 57 years old. Of course I've experienced racism. I know it exists. I believe ageism, sexism, racism, all these horrible isms exist. I have been called the hard R, I'll say it, to my face, not just, the friendly, but no, the hard R. I'll never forget. I was like, here's looking at you, Boston, summer of '86, when I went to Boston to do an internship with Honeywell. There were a bunch of us there from FAMU, Florida A&M. Great school of business and industry. So my first internship, I was only, 17 years old. This is 40 years ago. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. So I remember pumping gas at a gas station or whatever. We were outside, and these guys in a red pickup truck, you know the word. It was literally like slow motion. All of us, we just looked and stared, and the word just hung in the air, and I said it was just pungent, like the exhaust coming out of their tailpipe, just leaving this ugly residue. We were all kind of in shock. I mean, after all, the 80s, we're college kids. It's not the 60s, we weren't used to that. But do I let things like that, and a lot of different horrific cases that might involve racism, might involve any of the isms, those instances of evil, do I let them take away all my rationale and logical thought processing skills? Will I allow any hate to make me become hate-filled? Heavens no. I said I'm filled with the Holy Spirit and logic and reason. I didn't see that photo of Nolan Wells and his friends sitting there and immediately say, yep, they killed him. I don't need evidence. I don't need 911 calls. I don't need GPS reports. I don't need backstory. I don't need nothing. They killed him. Certain creators think, content creators, they're thinking because some of them can, hide their real government names. I put my real name is everywhere. God's protecting me. Okay, that's all I'm saying. He's the best protector ever. I'm not hiding behind some YouTubers or people, you don't even know who they are. They never come on camera. They only have some fake name. You never hear their real voice. Maybe their voice. Maybe that's it. I guess they think, oh, cops or civil attorneys or, process servers can't find me or something. I don't know. Do they think they can't be found? They can't be served? They can't be sued out the wazoo and have judgments in the millions awarded against them that they must pay? I mean, maybe they aren't brushed up on this 21st century defamation laws. Maybe they think if they just say, allegedly, so-and-so allegedly killed Nolan, like, I'm free and I'm protected. No, that doesn't cover you. Or a lot of people in Ryan Upchurch's case, they kept saying, Ryan, you could say whatever you want. That's the First Amendment. Don't get your legal advice off of your comment section. Let me tell you that much. The First Amendment does not protect us from defaming other people. People can still face civil lawsuits for spreading false statements that harm a person's reputation. So I said, if Nolan Wells' friends, if they had to go out and buy extra security, that's what Professor Schofield had to do. Once she became this target, Ashley Gilliard, it's like she picked her off of the website. Her, she did it. She's the Idaho 4 murderer. Video after video, like hundreds of videos pointing to her, and just kept on. And even after she had a $10 million judgment against her, she kept running her mouth over on TikTok. As if, first of all, I wouldn't want to do it to anybody, because it's just not true. Let alone the lawsuit implications and everything else. But if Nolan Wells' friends had to do some of the stuff Rebecca had to do, like buy any extra security, if his friends have to stay out of public, maybe lose some jobs, or, I don't know, suffer any emotional damage because they're being labeled murderers, you murderers, from content creators who are, running Ruby off the rails with their true crime fan fiction, an oxymoron, if I've ever heard one. People can expect lawsuits, maybe awards in the millions in due time. It does take time. I mean, back when Tasha K was saying all those untoward things about Cardi B, about certain alleged STIs, and it just got really crass about, people making comments, do you kissing your baby with those lips? Or even what Kendrick Lamar, his song, the fallout from his song, Not Like Us. I read Drake's lawsuit. Now, Drake did not sue Kendrick. He sued UMG, Universal Music Group, for even, promoting that or whatever. Drake spoke about all this protection he got for his family, especially with, the cover that had all the sex offenders, and it had Drake's house, and it had all those, labels on it. Just by showing what his literal house looked like, and how, from the aerial, and how people could potentially find it. And he has a young son as well. And all the steps Drake took just to protect himself, his son, his baby's mother, his family, as a fallout from that. People don't necessarily think of that, when we're just singing the song and stuff like that. But if any of Nolan Wells' friends have had to suffer damages, emotional, physical, financial, they might win some lawsuits. They are not even limited public figures, let alone public figures. So accusers can't rely on that little loophole like, they're a public figure anyway. No. Now, as of this writing, I can find no official charges brought forth by law enforcement. And believe me, I'm in touch with law enforcement as much as I can be. I haven't seen anyone officially deemed a suspect or a person of interest in the Nolan Wells case. I wrote defamation equals brokenness. So it boggles my mind to see people just basically hanging their whole lives on the words of a so-called professional audio expert. I mean, heck, I could get on here and say, I edit a ton of videos for, oh my goodness, I don't know how many decades now, but I could call myself some professional expert because, especially Final Cut Pro, all these little bells and whistles and everything you can do with audio and adjust different things. But just because some so-called professional audio expert who gets on here and throws around words like, putting words like no-nos really did now on top of the C-tow dispatch audio, or you killed him, or can we cover it up, with their so-called enhanced C-tow dispatch audio call. I'm amazed that some people, content creators, are just hanging everything they have on this. oh, look what she found. Why aren't there arrests yet? We haven't seen any evidence to corroborate. I've not seen Nolan's body, in the boat anywhere. I haven't seen anything that's real. No real evidence corroborate Nolan leaving on the boat that was sinking or the one that was being towed or anything, whatever, the towing one or whatever. Like I said, that whole Yanni versus Laurel, that audio illusion from like 2018, it should have taught us that writing words on top of a segment of audio can make a person think they are hearing something they totally aren't. And also, don't even get me started on what enhancing audio via editing software can do. Now, granted, I'm not going to call myself a professional nothing, okay? But I did get the audio directly from MDMR. If you listen to this original audio, the good thing about this audio is, thank you guys for telling me this, CETO dispatcher audio, her stuff is on the left. And all the guys and people on the boat, you can hear their crap on the right-hand side. So right now, if you want to listen like I've been listening, this way I don't have to like alter it and mess around with it and change it and everything. If you don't have headphones, grab some headphones or just, mark this part, come back if you want to watch later. Take out the left side and listen to what you hear on the right side.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you? CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir?
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag
Unless
on
you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees by 4672.
All right. 4672. All right. And you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
No, we do not have a VHF radio.
All right. Well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right. It looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right. Is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We are sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in
17
foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right. Have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right. Where would you like it towed to, sir?
You can tow it to Ocean Springs Harbor, or Fort Bayou Launch.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question.
Worthless.
Hello, can you hear me?
Gotta jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay.
How many
what's
adults
going
on board?
What's up? There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody
right.
here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22-foot offshore, 22-foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the left side is all this heavy on-hold music. And yes, they were recording. Some people were like, oh, I've been told CETO doesn't record during on-hold periods. Well, obviously they do. You know, it's not like putting you on hold. It was just like the beginning of the call. It's being recorded, similar to 911 calls, which that has messed up a lot of people who don't realize they're being, you know, as soon as you pick up 911, you are being recorded, you know, no matter what you're listening to on your end. But see what you hear. I listen to it like with my eyes closed and trying to hear, not watching any words. If I put words on the screen, you'll start hearing what I want you to hear. You know, if I say, no, then you'll hear no. If I put Nolan, you'll hear Nolan. I do hear, oh my God, pretty clearly. All this other stuff that people are claiming, all this other, you know, detailed murder plot, hide the body, check his chest, all this stuff people are claiming to hear, I don't necessarily hear. And even if I do hear something about, oh, a chest, or I definitely heard the part about pull the plug, you know, something about pulling the plug and
Gotta jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
even if we're hearing things, let's say, for example, they do say chest for sure. Do we know, are they talking about a chest on a boat or a chest on a person? Like, we don't know what we're hearing. I've listened over and over again. I'll probably listen more while I'm editing. This audio provided to me directly from MDMR. Now, what they did to it on their side, I don't know. I got this long video. And in fact, that's one thing that's important about getting direct evidence. The original video they gave me, this original video, CX1 recording Victoria Garcia, it says July 4th, 2026, and it has UTC time of 21:48, which I've translated, and I believe that's at 3:48 p.m. is when they made this call. This original, they put it in a video. It is 9 minutes and 46 seconds long. Now, granted, there are moments of pauses, silence, before she transfers over and talks to the captain, when she tries to transfer back and speak to the people who made the original call and they're not there. So granted, I get it. Some people might have just, of course, edited those out. But again, I feel very leery of anybody, any content creator who is trying to tell you, you know, oh, I've got the whole thing and this and that, and they've just grabbed it from TMZ. Now, I love TMZ, okay, fine. They've done their auditing or switching things up or whatever, I don't know. But I'd rather get it from the horse's mouth. As clear as we can get it, as much as we can get it. That's 9 minutes and something, and that's why I put the whole thing up. Originally, I thought YouTube wouldn't like on-hold music. I thought they would claim it. But I want you to listen again. Listen raw without me messing around with it.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you? CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Okay, so what did you hear? Could you hear anything clearly? Enough to say you know for sure that you know what the heck was going on that boat? When people start messing around with audio, that's why I don't want to enhance this. I don't want to, you guys have seen me, altering. Once you start, let me do this and do that. And, it sounds so smart, and people who aren't techie, they're like so impressed sometimes. Ooh, that audio engineer really knows what they're doing. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some people have an agenda. It starts warping what's actually there to the point where you're like, is this even really what was said? You guys know I've messed up some audio. But if I've sat on a jury right now, could I confidently say I'm hearing some big murder conspiracy, hide the body happening on that boat? No. And I've scoured the photos and videos released thus far from, what we can try and see are the most official sources. We don't get always date and timestamps and everything. But I don't see Nolan's body there, dead on the boat, like people are claiming, or they're counting the legs and they're saying, see, this is Nolan on the boat holding the girl, Katie. It's like, no, it's not. Stop making up fan fiction. This is like serious. This is like a death has occurred. So where's the real evidence? Not AI manufactured stuff, not any confirmation bias. The grand jury's decision has not been made public as of this filming. The initial autopsy is still sealed as of this recording. We don't have an official tox report. I know tox reports can sometimes take 4 to 6 weeks or longer. It's something I'm used to. So I know with crime cases, of course, well, if it's even a crime case, it could be accidental drowning. I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and say, I know 100% what happened to Nolan. I'm not God. I'm not omniscient. I'm not omnipotent. I don't know what happened to him. What we've seen are allegations from the one report that ABC picked up on. I named, my third video about it. It was alcohol intake heavy. That's what the captain had been told. And now we finally see that report breaking today, a week later, whatever. But there's been no indictments, no arrests as of this recording. I'm fighting for evidence. I was denied initially that CETO audio, the GPS, all the stuff I put over there, everywhere, Facebook, Patreon, the police reports, MDMR. I appealed. I was going to leave it alone, but I appealed and bless God won the release of all that info. But I never thought people would get the audio and then claim it exposed something it didn't. And I'm like looking through these huge content creators. I'm like, whoa, some people with maybe nearly 1 million subs or whatever or more, who knows. Never would I think I would see these huge content creators, especially ones I really respect or respected. They're being lauded for exposing the truth when we don't even know the truth. And they don't even put in their own public records. I see my stuff with my logo on there. So, I'm just like, what world am I in? But where will all these fans go when lawsuits against these content creators start rolling in? I guess the content creators better save all that money from their, million viewed videos that they have pointing I've been looking at so many. Some thumbnails are literally like, Nolan Wells, he was killed. Or they'll have one of his friends and it'll have heinous stuff being said about them. But do they ever request evidence from anyone? What are you basing this off of? Just some weirdness. Yeah, it was weird. Would Nolan really leave his phone on the boat? Okay, if he was drunk as a skunk, maybe he would. And that's no victim blaming or shaming. Believe me. He just seemed like a delightful young man. You want him to have not experienced this. But what I'm saying is we have to wait for evidence. It could happen. But those content creators who are some of them are just doing it, of course, for the views, for the money. Some of them, I fear, are doing it because they literally have a confirmation bias and their brains literally can't see other options. I could go either way. They could announce indictments, arrests today when I log off, when I, shut this video down. Or they could announce, accidental drowning. Either way, I could go with the evidence. That's what one great law enforcement guy spoke about. Several of them speak about that. They speak about following the evidence. Don't follow like, oh, I really think it's going to end up being this guy, just because you have your hopes set on it being that guy. Just follow wherever the evidence leads. But they better save all that money they're making from these videos, whether they truly, honestly believe what they're saying is real, or whether they're just doing it because they know it'll bring a bunch of views. Like Alex Jones, when he talked about Sandy Hook, oh, Sandy Hook wasn't real. Did he really believe it's not real? Or was he just knowing he could appeal to the conspiracy theorists? I always wonder that. But anyway, they might want to save all that money for any coming defamation lawsuits, because we can see how it's going. Maybe people haven't kept up. Tasha K, look, 4 million something against her. It cracks me up when she was like, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. That cracked me up. But Cardi B wasn't cracking up. She was depressed. Cardi B, when she's reading comments, I just listened to her song, Living My Best Life, and she was like, those comments used to kill me. And that was like way before, people talked about her messed up teeth or whatever. But it wasn't funny for Cardi B to, have all this talk about STI and you're going to pass that on to your baby and all these horrific things people were saying to her. And 4 point whatever million for Cardi B awarded, okay? $10 million against TikToker Ashley Gilliard. She has to come up with that. And now Ryan Upchurch, 18 million. So I know people aren't used to content creators getting sued, and there's probably a bunch I'm forgetting. Those are the ones that I just followed more closely than others. We toe the line, I always say I learned my lesson with Shane Carey. Thank God I didn't get sued, but I felt like I was letting other people influence me. Like Shane Carey, Heidi Broussard's fiance, he gave a weird interview. And so people started saying, oh, he's the next Chris Watts. And, you get into this like, am I not picking up on something other people are? Or maybe they're right. And let me say the same thing. And it's like, no. It turned out, no, he did not do anything to his fiance. Who would have thunk it? It was her best friend, a woman, who ended up taking the pregnant woman's life. So in doing this true crime thing, at least on YouTube, for almost 8 years now, prior to that writing articles, of course reading tons of books on true crime, things aren't always going to go the way it seems. But it does honestly scare me that people could view this very limited amount of evidence, first of all, not even be able to tell the AI evidence from the real evidence, and also not even having critical thinking skills or comprehension skills, because that's why I started it the way I did, and that's why I plan to title it like Nolan Wells slight burn mark, outer left calf on his left leg. And some people will immediately, their minds will jump to, oh, Nolan Wells had a burn on his left leg when he was found. That means they burned him, like those nurses on TikTok claimed. Like, where are they now? If Nolan had any obvious, fresh, new burns that could have happened July 4th, obviously Ben Crump would have been shouting it from the rooftops in that big presser at the NAACP thing. Remember the way the crowd screamed? This is what tells you that people are so willing to believe an urban legend or just believe the worst. As soon as Ben Crump spoke about Nolan's organs being removed and bagged, or however you put it, and then the crowd goes, "Whoa!" Because, of course, it's this thing, it's almost like an urban legend. Oh, people want to take the organs of minorities and use them and all this stuff. And that's why that scream went up. And even Crump had to calm the crowd down, saying, as per usual, this is certain things I'm used to reading autopsies, so certain things I'm used to. But now people are stuck on the narrative of, why did they remove his hyoid bone? And why did they have this? And why did they remove his organs and blah, blah. Again, like I say, I know racism happens. I know Emmett Till happened. That does not mean Nolan Wells is Emmett Till. I know Mississippi has a horrible history. That does not mean every single case is that. Logically is what I'm saying. It's not like I'm denying any hate-filled crimes. I'm just trying to discern the truth. And it scares me that people with this limited evidence, they are so willing to just literally call people murderers. Murderers, murderers. They're not examining evidence objectively. They're not waiting and saying, oh, wait, is this what happens usually in an autopsy, or is it, So now, again, I see why people like Casey Anthony and O.J. Simpson walked free. It's a manipulation of the minds. I examined probably more evidence in the O.J. Simpson case than Casey Anthony. However, I have examined what they gave us back then. We get more these days and we get it quicker, which can be a blessing and a curse, but I believe O.J. Simpson took the lives of Ronald Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. I looked at the history eventually that they eventually let out of her 911 calls, the domestics, the times O.J. was let go. And when trial came around, the jurors made it all about LAPD and violence against black people. I know certain things exist. I hated what happened to Rodney King, but my brain does not say, let O.J. Simpson go free because LAPD has been racist to some people. There's not an equivalent in my mind. It's not right. It's not right. If someone has committed a crime, let them be found guilty and serve time, their punishment for the crime. I don't need, all these other factors, people bending over backwards to try and proclaim someone either innocent or guilty. I mean, we're all innocent until proven guilty. So that's the standard of the law. Everyone is afforded due process. I would do it for you too. Whoever you are watching, I don't know what color, what race, what creed, what anything gender you are. Imagine you being with your friends on a beach trip or something. One of your friends ends up dead. The entire internet, it feels like, starts coming after you. I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon willy-nilly just because some people are like, oh, I think I heard them say Sherry or whoever you are, she is the one who killed her friend because she was jealous of her and she didn't like that race of person. It's like, anyway. This lawyer is asking for content creators to send screenshots. So it's no wonder this attorney, Russell Latino, he's collecting proof of content creators defaming others in preparation for defamation lawsuits. You'd be surprised who's like snapping screenshots and screen recording. I think some people have deleted stuff already. They might have got online July 5th, 6th, whatever, started popping off at the mouth saying whatever, and then it's like, whoa, and they start deleting stuff, but sometimes the damage is done. Doxing people, just putting full addresses out there, whatever, on YouTube, in front of millions. But here's the details of Russell Latino's law background. I put his Mississippi bar number up there, and he had private practice. He worked as an attorney with this law firm. He's the founder of this Magnolia Tribune, but he also practiced in Mississippi, specializing in commercial and constitutional litigation. So I'm like, oh, he probably knows the Constitution. This is what he posted a few days ago, July 25th, regarding gathering evidence for these lawsuits. He says, if you see anyone saying or implying that any one of Nolan Wells' friends are murderers that they know or are certain Wells was murdered, will you please take a screenshot and send it to me? I'm not naming any names, but I have seen plenty of people doing that. If Wells' friends are ultimately exonerated, and I was like, he doesn't really mean exonerated because they were never convicted of anything, but then I was like, maybe he does because they've been convicted in the court of public opinion. So if it turns out there's evidence, let's say that they did nothing to Nolan criminally, he's like, I plan on offering my legal services free of charge, no contingency or fee to file defamation lawsuits. He wants to start with a look at Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and even Nancy Grace, any media outlet that repeated their statements without any challenge, but I would not stop there. Now, I haven't seen, I will admit, Nancy say anything necessarily defamatory. I've just seen her kind of going over the audio, and then I fall asleep, so I don't know who said what. So I'm not saying this. This is what this attorney is saying. He's saying this is prejudgment, factless BS. It has to end before it tears our country apart. Be skeptical, demand results, but you just can't accuse people of anything without evidence. He's saying this has nothing to do with the Magnolia Tribune. This is Russ, the lawyer. And I get it. I like what he says. Yeah, be skeptical and demand results. Like, for example, I saw somehow a little bit of that evidence out, I think, to media outlets. They had gotten the PDF, the GPS of the boat coordinates where the boat Nolan was on, the places it went after it left Horn Island. So I put in a request, of course. You guys remember, I kept talking about it. I raced across town, spent $111 to overnight my $50 check there, a total of $161 to try and get this evidence. I kept bugging her like, where is it? You have it. I see UPS delivered it. Days later, the public records lady came back and was like, no, they prematurely released it, MDMR, they shouldn't have released it or whatever. And, here's a statement from the district attorney, her denial. And I was like, I wanted to let it go. I started praying about it. Then I wrote the appeal, thank God for Gemini, with the help of Gemini. Like, look, You've already released it to certain media. It's not fair to not release it to other members of the media. That's when you are playing favorites. It's almost like now, you fit that label of what I call you, But no, anyway, they accepted it and then they released it. And then that's when, I started putting it up, TMZ, all that stuff. So we got it, we put it up. So that's what I feel is being skeptical and demanding results. Holding the feet to the fire for them to fulfill the public records laws, yes. But that does not mean threatening law enforcement investigators. There's a warning from people threatening investigators. Oh, by the way, Nolan Wells' mother just subpoenaed Life360, Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, Snapchat for evidence. I'm just staying on this one. I'm like, do I have to pay every single time I refresh? Yeah, those are the ones she subpoenaed for evidence in this, in essence, this civil case that will turn into probably lawsuits, of course, against people, maybe for wrongful death. Now, I'm not saying Nolan Wells' friends may not have done anything. I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm not accusing them of being murderers. Now, as far as maritime laws and underage drinking and all that stuff, I don't know what happened there. Now, could Nolan Wells' mom win a wrongful death lawsuit or something, anything in there about, the boat and drinking and underage people and who provided Nolan with all this alcohol he allegedly drank according to the evidence, that the reports. We haven't seen toxicology yet. Maybe, I don't know that part, but it's something totally crazy when you start talking about just out and out calling people killers. But this, I was like, all right, who is threatening Nolan Wells case investigators? Tell me you don't follow true crime without telling me you don't follow true crime. A lot of these people, I'm like, is this the first case you've ever jumped on? Why are you acting this way? Per WLOX, Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Finch, she released a statement saying her office will hold accountable anyone who threatens law enforcement officers involved in the Nolan Wells investigation. If you're trying to intimidate, disrupt, or interfere with the work of law enforcement and prosecutors, you have threats to their well-being, all of those will be taken seriously and people will be held accountable. She wrote, a bright young life has been lost and we extend our prayers to his family. Indeed, this family is hurting. I mean, this is nothing against the family. Again, I see why if they felt they were being ignored or not taken seriously, I see why they did tap into help of national names to try and get the case out there. Just like Christine keeps posting, the question and the answer, the question of the day is what happened to Nolan Wells? It's like she's trying to get everyone back on focus. What happened? I know she has her questions, and I know a lot of the internet rallied behind her and Elmore because it's like, we don't want to be parents suffering like you. We want to know the truth also. But some people, I believe, took that and just spiraled out over it and almost is like, let me create the evidence to support your case. I don't know. I feel like people aren't being objective. So Russ, the lawyer, went on. He published that 10-page, basically intent to sue is what I'm calling it. Like, get ready for litigation. You're hereby placed on notice that litigation concerning the death of Nolan Wells is reasonably anticipated. So that's from the Carol Bufkin PLLC, Mississippi-based law firm associated with Ben Crump. He's notifying the families and friends of Nolan Wells' friends, if that makes sense. Nolan Wells' friends and the family members of his friends. So it's basically, this first part is like, just, save everything. We've seen that. Preserve evidence. Don't delete anything. Everything, emails, it's a long, long list. I'm not going through all this, but you can read it on Facebook. And in the meantime, I'm still collecting evidence. I'm like, I am saving up money to pay for my Pacer quarterly bill because it sounds like I'm going to be downloading a lot of lawsuit information and documents in the near future. Not only Nolan Wells' mom's civil case, maybe a wrongful death case, but also these defamation lawsuits that I'm sure are on the way because people don't know how to just be objective. Still fight for evidence. I mean, I still held their feet to the fire, like the DA and all of them, like, no, release this. And the record supervisor, you told me to send a $50 check. I got it down to you the next day. I did the portion you told me to do. Now hold up your end of the bargain or else I will contact an attorney. And I hate to have to do it, just like in the Mackenzie Shrilla case or different cases where it's like, no, if it's worth it, yeah, I might need to speak with an attorney, find out some retainer costs or whatever, if it's a fight that's worth it, to just get evidence, only get what we're due. So it'll kind of tamp down some of these crazy notions of what people said happened, whereas we only know what we know. Daniel 2:21 through 22. He changes times and seasons, he deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. We have to be discerning. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him. So yeah, the way I opened this video, it was, kind of tricky, but I was like, okay, let me see how people respond, because it's almost like that's what they want. It's like people want to believe a lie. Yes, Christine did say Nolan had a slight burn mark on the outer left calf, on his left leg, approximately the whole length of his calf. Obviously, that was something that was there before July 4th. She's just giving descriptions like you give tattoos, scars, marks, whatever you give when you're looking for someone who's missing, who might be unfortunately deceased, and they know what to look for when they have to identify a person who sometimes isn't easily identifiable, through their body based on what they've been through. And that's another thing. A person's been in water, but I've watched so many people, their words get misconstrued. I just want us to keep, of course, pushing for evidence in a legal way, not threatening Nolan's family, not threatening the family or his friends, not threatening law enforcement officials, not threatening judges, not threatening anyone. Going for it legally. Justice needs to be legal. It needs to be done the right way. Thanks for watching.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee-for-service come up under Jerry.
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking, and he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
He said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24-footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
Is it
he
Jerry?
said that Jerry. Yeah, he said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So
Oh, right.
I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the
So-
bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a
Okay.
kid. He just doesn't understand.
Oh, okay. Do you still have him on the line?
Yes, I still have him on the line. And, again, I couldn't find he couldn't give me anything regarding his grandfather's, membership, so it's just under Jerry fee-for-service.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just talked to. If you want to, we're so tied up right now. We can't really do any non-member jobs right now.
Is Jerry a member? Did you find out if he was a member or not?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's his boat or what. I'm not sure what's going on with it. But yeah, transfer the kid over. I'll talk to him, and then I'll call his grandpa back as well.
All right. And did you want me to look up Jerry's membership number or anything like that to see if he's up? I know you guys are
You can
swamped.
try this cell phone number.
Yes, sir.
Anything on this phone number.
All right. Yep. Jerry. Yeah, he's an active member. Hold on.
What kind of boat do you have on there? Same boat?
Yeah, he's one. Yeah, he's one of your members. Yep, 22-foot Triton. All right. I'll just disregard this one. I'm gonna send you over an accurate one under this Jerry Ackerson one, okay? He's one of your members. You'll get in a couple minutes, okay?
Okay, perfect. All right, and yeah, just transfer this kid over whenever you get a chance.
All right, transfer him now. Thank you again, Captain.
All
Stay
righty.
safe out there. It's crazy. Have a drink.
Oh, it's wild. All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello? Hello? Are you there? I apologize. I will be disconnecting due to lack of response.